don't you have a PhD? Is it in?
My PhD was to create a statistical model to map monkeys, space monkeys.
The launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed.
Space Monkeys, blasting off with Filippo Franchini. He's a technical educator at the Web3 Foundation. Very lucky to have him with us. Filippo, welcome to Space Monkeys.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
We've had quite a few missions without you, but we're glad to have you with us today.
Yeah.
We had a pretty wild time here in Bali. What's your honest impression on what you've seen here with the Mandala chain and the Bali crypto vibes?
I'm actually very impressed about the situation in Bali.
Yeah.
It seems like there is kind of a gold rush right now for who can actually help, right, the government to achieve this 2045 vision, digital vision of Indonesia.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice that Polkadot has a spot. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough competition. We have here a lot of other ecosystems.
Totally.
I mean, Indonesia is the fourth largest, biggest country in the world. Of course, there is a lot of potential. And I was also looking at the age structure of Indonesia. It's quite young, like 18, like 25-year-old. It's like big distribution of people around
that's right.
this
There's
age.
more young people coming up.
Even like lower than that, like even around 10, you have a lot of kids, and I mean, this can be the future developers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of inverse from a lot of the rest of the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we're all
we have
older.
an aging population structure in Europe, especially where I live in Switzerland. It's like
You have such a unique way of expressing yourself and expressing the complex topics of Polkadot. I mean, you come out with bangers on Twitter all the time. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what the gift is.
not really. I wasn't really even in social media. I'm quite direct person. I don't like to speak too much. So probably for me, Twitter is good because I don't like to articulate too many things.
Yeah.
And I also a very visual learner.
Yeah.
So usually I put an image and a short description, and then of course the usual link to the Polkadot Wiki.
Yes. a lot of your work this year has been the Polkadot Wiki.
I wish I could took a screenshot at the beginning when I started, right?
Yeah.
I was a user in Polkadot before joining the foundation.
Okay.
And because I was a lot in education, for me taking time to learn is it's fun. It's not fun for many people, but I actually took time to go through the documentation and learn about Polkadot. And I found myself pretty much lost because the content organization was a little bit not well organized, I would say. Like many pages that were repeating things, right? Or different sections containing similar content. So, of course, when I joined the foundation, and also because I'm not from a computer science background, the goal was to go through the wiki and from a non-developer kind of perspective to see what can improve. So I started this wiki reorg phase, which is still ongoing. I feel now the wiki has kind of a good organization of the content. Of course, we are a team, so it's not just me. I always get reviews from the technical education team, and sometimes from community or core developers. I like actually to collaborate with people because I don't have all the expertise. So when it's kind of a technical topic like asynchronous backing, this was a very big pull request to the wiki. We actually collaborated with 4 or 5 different people to make sure that the graphics are okay and the content is correct, right? It's kind of a lot of work maintaining the wiki.
It's this ever-evolving educational resource, right?
Yeah.
The wiki also has a big section on Jam.
Right, yes.
So what's this like? Because I mean, sometimes I speak to people on the fellowship and they'll have opposing views of what exactly is going on with Jam. So
I actually went to 2 or 3 speeches from Gav.
Yeah.
And I had my phone and I recorded the whole thing. Then I transcripted everything.
Wow.
And I try to go through the transcript and try to learn what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of an evolution because from the first speech, I think it was a Sub-Zero, the first ever presentation of Jam, the long presentation that he did. Then there was the token 2049. So I tried to put together a lot of information, different information. And then when the gray paper came out, I actually read the gray paper, not everything, but especially the first 6-8 pages. And then I actually started to write the first draft for the wiki. And again, here I collaborated a lot with other core developers. It took some time. Also, Gav, I think, Gav reviewed a little bit that page. It came out not out of the blue, but very abrupt, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's like kind of a sprint in order to, we have to get the gem page and all the gem FAQ into the wiki and make sure that everything the community can understand. And
sometimes Gav doesn't really give us a lot of notice on what he's what big idea he's going to drop, right?
I mean, it's really a great idea, I think. And I would say revolutionary also.
Absolutely.
But from there to get the documentation that people can actually digest easily, it's a bit of work.
How would you describe gem simply to people today, or is it not worth describing to people?
Gem makes possible to use Polkadot in a very generalized way, in a sense that everything can use Polkadot computation, not only chains. It actually abstracts away everything. It also offloads a lot what Polkadot does. The staking, the governance will be, at a higher level instead of a very core level. And make sure that Polkadot actually focuses on what it does best, which is providing this security and interoperability between chains, this very secure interoperability between chains. And on top of that is also it allows essentially to have different applications to collaborate easily. And the thing is that Polkadot is great because it's a highly performant network where everything gets executed in parallel from all these rollups. But it's not good if you want to do something very efficient between this rollup in order to communicate and have an application that uses this one, and this rollup very quickly, in the same block, for example, right?
You said earlier that you didn't have training as a computer scientist. But you did go far in academia. Don't you have a PhD? Is it in?
It's actually statistics and engineering, because I had my PhD was to create a statistical model to map monkeys, space monkeys.
No way. What were you mapping these monkeys? What were monkeys doing?
Mapping monkeys in rainforest, because it's very difficult to see monkeys in the rainforest, right? But they make a lot of noise.
Okay.
But human cannot go very easily into this rainforest. So the idea is to use drones.
Okay.
With microphones. With some noise cancelling technique. To record the monkeys, and then use the algorithm to map them with this acoustic software.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's was a nice experience. I also funded my own startup in order to build the drones and stuff like this.
Whoa.
So it was a nice experience. 4 years, 4 years of PhD.
And you went down to a rainforest? Which one?
Yeah, in Laos.
Okay.
I actually studied Annamite mountain range, the border between Laos and Vietnam.
What was it like living there? Were you living in a village, or what was the situation?
Oh man, it was very wild. We also had special permits because those areas, they are not allowed for tourists.
Okay.
Because we had a National Geographic grant, we had possibility to access this very pristine and wild place. Yeah. And man, you cannot believe it, but people there have smartphones.
Okay. Yeah. Really?
You can see people with nothing, essentially, right? With this, living in these places that are very wild, I would say.
Yeah.
And they have this piece of technology, right?
That's nuts. Yeah. Of course, though. Of course, smartphones are so cheap; they're everywhere now,
man.
right?
It's crazy.
And
some of them just not even with the SIM card, just to take pictures.
I see. I was going to ask you, what about connectivity?
There's.
Were you isolated from?
I think now there might be maybe Starlink.
Okay,
somehow, but at that time there was very little phone coverage. They were actually stationed in the forest with just some stick of wood when you place the phone, and there is where it actually catches the.
No way. Yeah. And did you live here permanently for multiple years, or you were going back and forth?
No, we just stayed there for a month.
Oh, when you were actually doing the
it was a field
right?
work. It was just a field work.
Yeah. That's so cool. And what was the result with the monkeys?
I mean, it worked.
It worked,
but of course, in order to make it work and make it scalable, and and commercialize it, it's all another story. So in the end, like I just did my PhD thesis, and after that, I just closed the startup because.
How would you commercialize monkey counting?
You can commercialize the software that can be applied to many different vectors, not only drones, right? You can place it on a car, you can place it on, I don't know, whatever that has a microphone.
Yeah.
And you can commercialize the drone, but drone industry is highly competitive and highly expensive.
Sure.
So
you didn't manufacture your own drones?
Yeah, we manufacture our own drone. Yeah. We had like all the printers.
Wow.
I collaborated with my brother because he's a mechanical engineer, and then a friend of us, he's an electrical engineer.
Okay, how many years ago was this?
It was 2019.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah,
so
before
just before COVID. Yeah,
before COVID. Yeah.
You finished your PhD, COVID happened, and I mean, must have not been too long before you started working with the Web3 Foundation.
Yeah, I actually started in 2022 in August. It's almost it's 2 years.
But you were hanging out, you were looking at Polkadot before then?
I was using Polkadot before that, yeah.
What
like
were you using
1 year
for?
and a half. I was interested about the technology, and I was, using it a little bit for the staking and just playing around,
So what motivated you to, did you reach out to the Web3 Foundation?
Actually, I wanted to learn about blockchain technology.
Yeah.
And there was this massive course by Bill Laboon.
Of course.
On YouTube, the famous Bill.
Yes. I've given this course to other people as well. They love it.
It was a free course, right? And the thing is that there are many courses out there. And it seems like the foundation was, a Swiss foundation. So I said, come on, this course should be like, give me a good introduction, and it is free, why not? So I actually took all the classes, and which I think is 20 classes of 1 hour each, more or less. And I really loved it. And because I like education, I actually sent a message. And at that time, there was no opening at the foundation. But then 6 months later, there was actually an opening for the technical education team. So I just reached out again, sent the application, and then they did the interviews and the whole process. And for me, it was actually nice because I was already using Polkadot. So the interview was just a nice conversation. When you do the interview and you know a lot about the other, about the company, what they do, it's
of course you have something to say.
It's an advantage. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
And what was your impression when you first got to the Web3 Foundation offices?
I was actually scared.
Yeah. What about? Why?
My fear is that I come from academia, and I publish a peer review paper before, so I can write technical things, but at the same time I don't have this computer science knowledge. Yeah. And as soon as I joined the foundation, you have a lot of information, how it works, Polkadot, especially like all the tools, Polkadot.js, how it works, and it took me a lot of time to learn and master these tools. Yeah. Especially because they also asked me to do some video tutorial. And I'm not a person that writes a script. I like to really do it, freestyle and then edit it later. Yeah, it took time to learn and digest all these things. No doubt. But I loved it. Yeah, at the beginning, I was scared, but then I actually enjoyed it. And I like the community. I started to engage with the community. For me, this is a huge motivation. Getting the feedback from people is what keeps me going. And really I appreciate that the community is so kind to me.
Yeah, a lot of people look up to you and they're interested to hear what you have to say. And then when you say an idea, then other people start saying those ideas too. Is there anybody at the Web3 Foundation who, they're operating on an academic level that is just way beyond you, like they're writing and they're researching things that just are beyond your comprehension?
Of course. I would say some people are on the research team. Of course, there are some concepts that unless I'm very curious and it's very important for me to know that detail in order to deliver a talk or be confident about it. Yeah. I don't really go too much in detail if I don't really need to go in that detail, just because of course there are so many things that my role covers. It would be impossible to know everything. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Going back to the community here, we've been going through a little bit of a rough time as far as the market goes. Maybe temperaments have been a little less kind and bullish and exciting as they have been in the past,
Right.
or they will be in the future. What's been your view on the past few months, and do you have any wisdom for people who are, I don't know, becoming discouraged,
Impatient, discouraged.
impatient? Yeah.
I don't think it's only a problem of Polkadot, right? It's also this space is heavily relies on hype that sometimes goes beyond the pure value of things.
Yeah.
Right. I think Polkadot is very strong. The technology that Polkadot has is it's good tech. I would refrain from saying it's the best tech. This would make us a little bit arrogant, I think.
Yeah.
I really would like people in the ecosystem to reach out to other players and start collaborations. We need to collaborate more with other ecosystems to gather the users or to share ideas and to build a bigger, stronger, base for the future of Web3. It's normal to be discouraged, right? It's been 3 years, very rough. People are always optimistic at the start.
Yeah.
And then as time goes and nothing changes, and maybe it's a slow process, people lose faith. I think it's also part of the cycle. There are new people coming in and maybe older people, people that were in the ecosystem for a longer time.
Yeah.
They just go out because, they just want something new.
Yeah.
Right? The grass is always greener at the other side.
Yeah.
So you leave an ecosystem, you go inside another one, you might have different problems.
Yeah.
So you know what you leave and you don't know what you will get.
Yeah.
At least I think the governance and the community around the governance and the decision.
Yeah.
They're keeping a little bit the discussion alive, and of course it's not always pink. I think these things takes time, especially the governance. It's not only a technological upgrade.
Yeah.
It's a new socio-economical or way to organize society. It's transparent, and people might be pissed off because these things usually they're not so transparent in the normal world. But we always have corruption. We always have people making deals behind the doors.
Yeah.
And you just never gonna know about it, right? And here everything knows about everybody and sees what everybody's doing.
How do you spend your time when it comes to interacting with governance?
I look at certain proposals, but I don't invest specific time of the day just to look at the governance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been before I was doing it, but it was sucking up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need just a person to do it. Just a specific, person that goes in the governance and reads everything and prepare reports and this kind of. I think Tommy did a nice job with this.
Yeah.
Providing the tools to the community to make this experience a little bit more efficient and better. Yeah, I think we're going in the right direction. It's just
nice.
It feels slow, right? Because it's all bottom up.
Yeah.
And it's not top down.
Yeah.
It's not streamlined, and everybody wants to do something. And sometimes also a little bit fighting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It feels slow. It also feels wasteful as well. We make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And we don't know their mistakes until...
Yeah, and especially in the meantime, you might have other ecosystem that they try to overtake you because just they're more top down, and it's more easy for them to gather maybe a little bit of this market share while you maybe are fixing, I don't know, fights. Yeah,
totally. Any direction you'd like governance to go from here? Anything you'd like to see more of? Anything you'd like to see less of?
I think OpenGov is it's a great invention. It's amazing the fact that it can be really very efficient. All these tracks, all these multiple proposals at the same time. Yeah. But I feel there should be some sort of control still.
Okay.
Well, I feel people are not ready.
What does it look like? Some sort of control?
Yeah, I feel there should be a way of keeping the community a little bit together, focus, especially the treasury spending on targeted solutions that Polkadot needs on the short term, maybe.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it open and everybody can propose everything, making it more simple, right? So maybe propose a topic, and then people can can submit proposal for that specific topic that Polkadot needs.
Yes.
And it ends there.
We've been hearing about this. Raul said this on this show a few weeks ago, request for proposals, which seems kind of obvious.
Yeah, because you end up to be way more efficient and to target the funding and the effort in really specific pain points instead of having, that guy developing that solution and that group doing that event. And I don't know, it feels a little bit dispersive.
Yeah,
a lot of energies that can really be efficient. I mean, using it efficiently is now spread out, and sometimes it just ends in nothing, right? And this is what pissed the community off. Yeah, and also like what generates a lot of negative social media kind of vibes.
Yeah, totally.
And toxicity.
A constant toxicity, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, look, who knows? Obviously, we can't predict the future, but possibly, maybe, vibes might pick up in the next few months. Possibly, maybe not. Maybe we'll enter this global recession, but maybe not.
Let's hope not, man.
I know. Let's hope not. But let's say things start picking up and attention starts coming back onto the crypto space. What do you think Polkadot's story is? What does it have to offer the sort of people who are going to be coming here, with the hype? There's going to be a lot of different narratives. Where do you think Polkadot is going to click?
I think delivering the message that Polkadot offers this highly secure hub for projects to deploy. You don't have to bootstrap your own security. You can just use Polkadot. And also this interoperability between these projects that boost collaborations. It's a very valid use case. I believe these are the big problems that Polkadot fixes into a Web3 future. You cannot expect having a million chains. You can just deploy either a chain or not necessarily a chain on Polkadot.
Sure.
And use the service that Polkadot offers, right? So because I think the strong motivation here is just Polkadot offers this secure computation that it's easy, to plug in and just use it. And this is also good for the token because it's a way also of generating revenue for alternative, revenue that is other than transaction fees. Yeah, I mean, I believe these are good use cases on the long term, of course. Also, this abstraction, you have big enterprise that now, mythical games. You have here Mandala chain that is looking for you to use Polkadot technology.
Yeah.
Because you can customize, and usually governments, they are very picky. They have specific needs. They want to have a little bit of control. So the Polkadot SDK allows you to do these things, right?
Totally. You mentioned Mandala and Mythical there. Any other projects you're really interested in? Maybe over the next little bit?
I'm a big fan of hydration.
I know. Yeah, it's cool.
I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a strong use case.
Any particular coin you like trading on hydration specifically?
Oh man, this is getting hot. Okay. Yeah, I like because I value the community. I attribute also value to meme coins because they always have around a strong community.
Yes,
and they also drive users, right?
Yeah.
And
they're like a welcoming mat.
And I really like this meme called Wood.
Yeah.
Because it's not only you have the community, but you also have the game. So there has been this collaboration with Hydration to boost the on-chain activity and do this in-game airdrops, and you get people creating a new wallet and onboarding in the ecosystem.
I know.
I think it's small efforts to get people attention about what Polkadot is. Especially that on Polkadot you have different chains, so people understand that I need to to cross-chain my DOT to hydration in order to swap, for example, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, right now, it's not just a button where you have DOT on the relay chain and I want to swap to something else and automatically it cross-chain, it does everything for you,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit complicated, but it's nice to see that people are trying and experimenting.
Yes.
I don't think we need more than these things, but I think these things can help.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, I would say that the strong use case of Polkadot, just big institution coming in, developing their own solutions and using the security, bringing their users. I mean, Indonesia, I think Mandala wants to bring 100 million users, the first 100 million users.
Yeah, I mean, some of these potential pools of users we've been hearing about are just...
Yeah, we did ID, solving real problems. Like here, passports or... digital identity, hospitality, or university certificates,
mining.
Mining, commodities, mining, These are real big problems to solve, and I think if you can use blockchain technology, it's great. If you can use Polkadot technology, it's better.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there's a lot to come for Polkadot.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you very much for being on the front lines of education and entertainment and welcoming people and keeping everybody involved and together. It's really nice to hang out with you today. Thanks for being on the show.
Such a pleasure to be here with you.